Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are all doing well. In case you don't remember me, my name is Josie, and I'm sure you're probably wondering, Josie, where the heck have you been? I know it's been like a year and a half since I last posted. I know. You guys have all emailed me. You guys have messaged me. You guys have seen me out on the streets and came up to me asking where I've been and if I'm still in Portugal. And I wanted to send an update for you guys. I'm going to get back into making videos, so don't worry, I really will make videos this time. I wanted to give you guys an update on my life, what I've been doing for this past year and a half that I haven't been filming, and just pretty much give you a 3.5-year update on what I've been up to. All right, so first thing first, I think the last video I made was like back in February of last year. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to remember a lot of what I've been doing for the past year and a half. To be honest, this past year, I have been really just studying languages. So I don't know if I had mentioned it in a previous video, I probably didn't, but last February, I actually took my language test for Portuguese citizenship. I had taken a few months or whatever and started to study for the test. And anyway, I took the test and I got my results back in May, and thankfully I passed. So I then started looking to see what the requirements were to get Portuguese citizenship other than the language test. And I wanted to know what the timeline was. So after 5 years of residency, you then can apply for your citizenship. However, the problem that I saw was the fact that some people have applied and have been waiting for 3+ years. I think some lucky people were able to get it within the first year or two that they applied. But then I started to wonder if I wanted to wait that long. In case you haven't seen any of my previous videos, my husband's French and my kids all have French citizenship. So I'm able to apply for my French citizenship. However, I still don't feel confident speaking French. Even though I understand a good bit of French, I just did not have that confidence in speaking French, given I think my French is better than my Portuguese, but it really just depends on the day, to be honest. But when I got my results back in May and found out at that point I would then have another, let's just say 5 years until I was able to get Portuguese citizenship, I then decided at that moment I'm just going to buckle down and study for my French test and, start from scratch again, start from A0, which is just like beginner level, and work my way up to B1, because for the French language test, they require that you have a B1. Now, next year, they're actually changing over to B2. And I found that out and I'm like, okay, I need to do it now, because if I don't, studying for a B1 test versus studying for a B2 test is completely different. And I knew that B2 would make me have to study for at least a year or two to get to that level. So I told myself, okay, I'm just going to take it. If I pass, awesome. If I don't pass, I can always rely on my Portuguese, language test, and hopefully they don't change the requirement. So then I saw the next test was actually September. So that would give me the summer to study, to go from beginner level to intermediate level. So I spent the whole summer studying really hard for my test, and thankfully I took the test and passed. I was so nervous, but I won't go into too much detail about that in this video. If you're interested in the language test and my experience in both the French test and the Portuguese test, let me know and I'll make a video on that. So then I got my results back. I think it was like October, November, I found out that I passed. And then this past year, I was just trying to collect all of my documents so I can submit my dossier to the French embassy. And I'm waiting now for word for anything. I know when you submit your dossier, or your file, I guess, you usually will get your citizenship within 6 months, 8 months. Sometimes it might be a year, but usually I hear that the average wait time is 6 months. So let's cross our fingers and hope that my next video will be me celebrating my French citizenship. All right, so let's get back to my life here and everything. Sorry, this is might be a long video, so just grab a cup of coffee, sit back. We're having a chit chat right now. What else has happened? I have been traveling so much as well. Thankfully, I have a very supportive husband who loves the fact that I love to travel. And I don't know about you and your significant other. He's a guy that actually prefer staying home with the kids than traveling with the whole family. So sometimes he's like, yeah, you want to go visit this country? I have no interest, so I'll stay home with the kids and you go with your girlfriends. So that's kind of what I've been doing. So me and some girls will go on vacation for a couple of days. Like we just went to one of our trips this year. We went to Morocco and the flights were like 50 euros or maybe even less than that. Or actually, I think it was like 50 or 60 euros. I can't recall now, but I've seen flights for less than that. And, we all just shared an Airbnb, and then we would go and spend vacation there for, 3 days, and we come back. One, it's really nice that I live in Portugal, that flights are really reasonably priced. And two, it's really nice to have a bunch of girls who enjoy traveling just as much as I do. So traveling without kids sometimes is just really nice. So it's always good to be able to get out of the house and enjoy a couple of days just hanging out with your girlfriends. So where did we go this past year? Oh my goodness. I can't even recall. Like we went to Morocco. We've been to Spain. We went to this awesome all-inclusive place in Spain. Actually, if you enjoy all-inclusive resorts, Spain is where you need to go because Spain has a lot of all-inclusive resorts at pretty reasonable price. So we went there, we went to France, we went to a bunch of different places this summer. I can't recall all the places, but I've been traveling a lot and I really enjoyed it. So let's talk about Portugal as a whole though, like what I've been liking, what I've not been liking, what do I think differently about certain things. So one, let's talk about the children. I'm sure you guys are probably wondering if my children are still happy here, and they are. It's funny because I always ask them, even though at this point we've been here for over 3.5 years, so to some that's more than half of their lives. And two, it's definitely different when you come here with kids at a young age than if you have kids that are older. So I'll ask them sometimes like, oh, do you miss the States? And I just thought it was so bizarre. My youngest child, who obviously had spent more than half of her life here, she can't recall a lot of things. And I started to wonder, I'm like, wow, in a few more years, she's not going to remember most of anything of our lives back in the States, which was a little sad at first when I thought about it, but that's a reality, right? She spent the majority of her life here and she won't have a lot of memories, or she won't remember a lot because we left the States when she was 3. So I don't know about you, I barely remember what happened yesterday, let alone when I was 3 years old. So it was just, it was an eye opener. But the other two, I ask them all the time, like, oh, do you miss the States? And honestly, they don't. Given the only thing they do miss is Target, and they miss Chuck E. Cheese. But I'm pretty sure in a couple of years they might not remember those two. So anyway, this summer the weather wasn't the best. When I say it wasn't the best, actually a lot of people enjoy the weather. I preferred it to be a little bit warmer, but it was still a decent summer. It was still a summer. Like we still had really hot days, but then there were days where it wasn't really that hot, and I thought it was a little strange. But I feel like living here, the weather is unpredictable. Like right now, it's November 7th and it's 24 degrees or 22 degrees out today, which I'll do the conversion somewhere below, but it was really hot. My level of hot is different than everyone else's level of hot. So yeah, the weather has been what I expected it to be. It's the Silver Coast, it's very unpredictable, but it's not extremes for me, whereas someone else, it might be. What else have I been up to? I don't know. There's really nothing else in my life that's really different. I'm trying to remember everything. I mean, I still live where I live and I still love this area still. So I don't know what to say. I know I have a few other people asking if I would do some more videos on places like surrounding areas in the Silver Coast, smaller villages. So I will try to make videos on that. And I'm trying to think what else. I'm gonna make a bunch of different videos just kind of to keep myself entertained a bit, and I'm sure you guys too. So I'm gonna make those videos. I'm gonna make another update on grocery prices here and cost of living, because obviously I know you guys are probably affected by inflation, and it doesn't stop here in Portugal either. Inflation has been wild. It's so funny. I was actually shopping the other day. I was telling my friend this too. it wasn't the other day, it was since inflation really has picked up here. I remember going to the grocery store and buying, I think it was like, I wasn't buying a kilo, but a kilo of chicken breast. A kilo is 2.2 pounds, mind you. So a kilo of chicken breast at that time was €1.99. Now it's on average around €6. So I've only lived here three and a half years. So keep that in mind. Given €6 is probably what, like $3, I would say, back in the States. So $3 a pound. So still, I would assume pretty reasonable in comparison to the States. But if you know that I once paid $1.99 a kilo and now it's €6 a kilo, I mean, that's a jump, right? But I will go into kind of give you guys an update on my cost of living and all that stuff, because it obviously has gone up. And I don't know if you guys want more like vlog styles, or if you want more sit downs like this, or girl, just tell me what you want me to video to record, because sometimes I have these ideas which I obviously film, and then other times I'm like, what do people want to know from me? I don't even know. Actually, I am probably gonna do one video. I don't want to record my kids a lot, because obviously I want them to have, I don't want to record my kids a lot, you know. But I think I want to do a video just of their language, you know, progress from here. Obviously, they're all fluent, but it would be, I'm sure you can probably see from a previous video where they were speaking Portuguese, and then to see their progression up until now, 3.5 years later. It's always an interesting, for me, I love watching videos. I love watching videos of children speaking different languages, because that's my jam. I enjoy that. Yeah, so just tell me what you want me to record. If you want me to do a house tour or rental tours or something, let me know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, me rambling on about my life and a lot of nothing too. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. All right, ciao.